polarisbanklimited.com tàbí èyíkéyìí ẹ̀ka Polaris lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí láti ṣí àkáǹtì rẹ tó bá ṣe ń fowó pamọ́ sí láyé láti jẹ̀bú ó ṣe pọ̀ sí ìpolongo oríire Polaris Save and Win yóò máa tẹ̀síwájú láti ìsinsìnyí títí doṣù kẹrin ọdún 2021 òfin àti ìlànà wà o fún àlàyé sí kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ alátagbà wa lónìí.
Babe, Grain Smart. Is it a flavor?
No, it's a special mix of vitamins and iron in Golden Morn.
But I thought Golden Morn was made from maize and soya.
Yes, Niger maize and soya protein fortified with Grain Smart, which means the right energy to think and do great things.
Oh!
Treat your family to the great taste and energy of Golden Morn. Eat up and carry go, because nothing do you. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Dermatologically tested Bebe Baby Diapers makes babies happy with elastic side bands, breathable external layers, barrier to help prevent leakage, and makes families happy with its affordable price.
It's time to go down low. Edges laid, nails popping, face baked. You and the girls are ready. The party is literally on fire. Your phone camera is ready. The only gadget you'll ever need.
Get the new Nokia 3.4 and 2.4 smartphone. The only gadget you'll ever need to enjoy 2 days battery life, 6.5 HD plus display, and capture details in low light with the night mode. Nokia.
2020 ń lọ sópin 2021 á dára.
Ó ga jù ọdún yìí ojú mi rí màbo ọdún tó ń bọ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ dùn.
ọmọ ọdún tó ń bọ̀ ní láti dùn ṣáá ni mo gbọ́dọ̀ make ẹ̀.
Òótọ́ ni o nítorí láti oṣù kejì ọdún títí di oṣù kẹrin ọdún 2021 èèyàn mẹ́jọ ni yóò jẹ mílíọ̀nù kankan náírà tẹ́nì kọ̀ọ̀kan nínú èèyàn ọgọ́sàn 180 yóò jẹ ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ọgọ́rùn-ún kan náírà níbikíbi lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà lásìkò ìpolongo oríire Polaris Save and Win láti yege ṣáà ti máa fi ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà tàbí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ pamọ́ sínú àkáǹtì rẹ lóṣooṣù fóṣù mẹ́ta léraléra bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti oṣù kọkànlá ọdún yìí ìyíkoto yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti oṣù kejì ọdún 2021 torí náà yára tẹ *833# kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára pẹ̀lú polarisbanklimited.com tàbí èyíkéyìí ẹ̀ka Polaris lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí láti ṣí àkáǹtì rẹ tó bá ṣe ń fowó pamọ́ sí láyé láti jẹ̀bú ó ṣe pọ̀ sí ìpolongo oríire Polaris Save and Win yóò máa tẹ̀síwájú láti ìsinsìnyí títí doṣù kẹrin ọdún 2021 òfin àti ìlànà wà o fún àlàyé sí kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ alátagbà wa lónìí.
You don't wait for life. You go to meet life. It's not about how many chances you get. It's what you do with what you've got. Morning after morning, cup after cup. Start strong, finish strong. With the stimulating aroma and rich, creamy taste of Nescafe 3-in-1. It all starts with a Nescafe.
Uncle Dentist, what be cavities and how Colgate take they protect my teeth from cavities? Shey they use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Now, hole for teeth they cause most tooth pain will be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, take brush every day. The confirmed formula could help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. We could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don't reach to upgrade to the chosen toothpaste Colgate because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Jane, I need to get to Solar Telecoms at Mokola now. I need to get an AC for the office and a TV set for the reception. Should I go to the Mokola or Challenge or Palms Mall? Or which do you think is closer? This should not take more than 30 minutes.
No, sir. It shouldn't even take up to 10 minutes. There's a new Solar Electronics store at J. Allen Dugbe, Ibadan.
New Solar Telecoms at J. Allen Dugbe. When? How? Where?
Yes, sir. The Jagaban of electronics and phones in Ibadan, Solar Telecoms, has landed at J. Allen Ibadan. Step up your game and visit Solar Electronics showroom at number 15 Obafemi Awolowo Way, J. Allen Ibadan today for the best flat screen and curved TV sets, AC units, gen sets, deep freezers, fridge, gas cookers, and lots more at the lowest prices.
Thank you for your patronage, sir. This is your special gift.
Lovely.
There's so much to go around at Solat Electronics Showroom at J. Allen. Visit us today and get yours too. Or call 0907-434-9785 or 0701-684-1630 or visit solatonline.ng. Solat Telecoms, the Jagaban of phones and electronics.
Muka don land better awoof for grand oh! From October 2020, if you buy comfy mattress, them go summer you better mosquito net. If na Flora mattress you buy, hey, you go collect correct bedsheet with 2 pillowcases join. This awoof will not be forever oh! Oya alele, make una go Muka distributor way near you. Them go yarn una more information for the terms and conditions.
Muka, adding comfort to life. Splash FM 105.5.
Welcome back to Splash 105.5 FM. We are the Integrity Station. We're reaching you live from the big brown city called Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. It is Beyond the Surface, and I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. All right, now we've been talking about human rights. We've been talking about rights generally. The whole of November, I have been talking about rights because I think it's important. Even though some people argue that what's the point of knowing your rights in Nigeria, where, for example, if you're stopped by police, you start to talk about your rights. It intimidates, the police officer, and then it lands you into more hot water. But I believe that it's important to know your rights. I also talked about how there are lots of things that public office holders do that really should be basic stuff that you should have, but obviously they make it seem like they're giving you a gift. They make it seem like they're doing you a favor. So knowing your rights is definitely super important. I've got a barrister on the line. Barrister Bada is going to be joining me real quickly and talking to us about the role of government really in protecting our human rights, and why it's important to know our rights really as well. Good morning, Barrister Bada. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I can hear you.
Great to have you here. Thank you very much for joining me, sir.
Welcome.
Now, Nigeria really doesn't rank very highly in the human rights, ladder, and I wonder why. What would you think? What would you say? I believe we were ranked 120 or 130 out of 180. I believe. Why do you think this is so?
Well, the starting point is to say that we have enough rights codified in our law.
Okay.
So the problem has to do with the implementation, the observance of these rights. And so when you talk about who to blame, for example, the judiciary, for example, has done a lot in making sure that some of these laws, pronouncements are made on them to ensure that rights of individuals are protected. For example, in the eastern part of the country, just recently, Supreme Court to come out to say that a woman is also entitled to inheritance.
Absolutely.
So you have cultural practices working against some of these rights. But again, when you situate it, you look at the executive arm of government, they have a lot of role to play. For example, you want to start with, maybe with the police, for example. They need a lot of education.
Yes.
To know that these rights, they rise above any law of the land. They are so universal in the sense that you can't deny any human being such rights. For example, if you look at the chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution, you look at it from section 33 down to section 46, you see that the whole chapter is dedicated to it. Some of these rights are basic to citizens. Some of them are rights to everyone. For example, section 33, the right to life, is universal. But when you talk of the freedom of movement, it's only limited to citizens. But again, our law enforcement agents, for example, when you see a particular, somebody in the military, maybe a soldier, trying to observe human rights, people are likely going to tell you that, you are not supposed to be a soldier. Because they have not been brought up to actually understand that everybody will benefit where we observe the rights.
Absolutely. I wanted to take you back to when you talked about culture, sir, real quickly.
Yes.
And oftentimes people have also fingered culture and religion to be one of the issues with human rights. Does it always have to be an either or? Do we have to choose human rights or culture and religion? Does it have to always be, or we have to do away with one?
Well, I think the first statement to be made is that the human rights, the rights above, in fact, human rights, they also recognize the freedom of religion.
Okay.
Now, even when you have, look at the issue of culture is so, if you look at the legislature, they have been making laws even to further the enhancement of the fundamental human rights. For example, child rights law in various states and child rights act at the federal level. You will see that, the rights of children are protected. But again, when a child is molested, for example, and you expect the state to take it up, and the state actually through various organs or agencies decide to take it up, you see the parents withdrawing back, looking at it as a family thing, cultural. So you look at it that, why will I do this? Or a man abusing. We have had cases where we have to take the husband to court, to drag the husband to court for a binding over others. That look, let this man be off. But the moment you do that, even the family will think you have gone to court for divorce. So we have to do a lot of, like you are doing now, a lot of education, enlightenment. People should know. If somebody has a headache, for example, he won't go to the doctor first. He will try and do something. So the same thing, people need legal education.
Absolutely.
To be able to know some of these rights.
Exactly.
And to also know many agencies are set up even to advance. Even government on its own, like Legal Aid Council.
Yes.
You have the legal aid. In various states, you also have, like in Lagos State, they have bodies set up to assist people or citizens who cannot afford even the services of maybe a legal practitioner to represent them. But the point is that people should know this right.
Yes.
The right to life, for example, means that you can't take another person's life under any condition except where you are carrying out a judgment of court. Or maybe you are acting in self-defense.
Yes.
But without justification, you can't take another, you can't even cause bodily harm to another person. All in the name of anything. If a police officer should see somebody, you can't slap because somebody has committed an offense. Does not warrant that person should be dehumanized.
Exactly.
These are basic rights.
And a lot of times we don't know this because there's so much intimidation is so rife. Where I've talked about how people will say, what's the point of knowing your rights? If, for example, you tell a police officer these rights and it infuriates him, it makes him feel like you are insulting him, which could land you in hot water.
Yes. Even as legal practitioners, we have these issues we face with them. And we understand that if you look at the history of the police, you will see that it was an instrument of oppression when it was set up.
Wow.
If you look at their name, it's in Nigeria Police Force. So what they know is force. So unless there is reorientation, if you are taking new people, you have to orientate them. You have to make sure that they understand these basic human rights. It is also in their own interest. Let me tell you this. They are also victims of abuse of human rights.
Yes.
So it's not as if they are immune. People abuse them. I mean, how can you say you attack police and you now burn an officer and you take they also benefit. So everybody is involved. So the earlier they knew this, the better for all of us.
So why is it that when they were fighting for NSAS, why did they feel like they were the ones? I feel like with the NSAS movement was also fighting for the police to get better paid, to be treated well, so that they can also start to act like they ought to. So why didn't they feel like part of that movement? Why didn't they join that movement, do you think?
Well, I don't want us to dwell so much on the issue of police because they are just one out of the decay.
Absolutely.
Out of the decay. But if I respond to that, you will notice that if you have interacted with them, when the NSAS started, they knew that it was actually their battle.
Right.
Because to tell you the truth, an average officer cannot even go to SARS office and say, look, I have somebody here. He will be dealt with. So those ones were just laws unto themselves.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk
about... They were
not
ready to listen to anybody else.
Yes, because, I mean, you've talked about how police is just a fraction of what exactly the issues that we have with human rights. But also people will say that weaponizing poverty is also, because somebody who's poor, also, how does the person want to demand rights when the person is poor? And there's lots of poverty in the land. So do you think that that's also a major factor in...
Well, I don't want us to talk about the obvious things. Poverty is becoming a common currency.
So how do we...
It's a common denominator.
Right.
Now, to do it, now, if, for example, women are being empowered day in, day out, if you look at various sectors, go to our banks, you see that they earn more now than men. And so that ordinarily should also translate to respect for human rights. You'll be surprised that women abuse civil rights even more in some instances, even than men. So what we still need, it doesn't matter. I mean, even in developed world where poverty appears not to be so obvious, there is still abuse of human rights, even by the police officer.
Right.
So I think the important thing is education. I am not trying to say that poverty does not have a role. Just as culture have a role to play. You can imagine a man goes out in the morning and calls the wife and say, look, before I come back, I should not meet you at home. In case you don't know, it is an offense now. Under the Violence Against Women law for your state. But people still do it. So if a man goes out and say, look, before I return from office, I should not meet you at home. And the woman goes to police now to report. You will see the way it will be treated. What's the big deal? Whereas it has been criminalized. It is an offense. As a matter of fact, you do not even need the police to prosecute that. You on your own can approach a court. That's what the law says. You can approach the register of the court, whether you can read or write or not. The register of the court. This law says I can approach you because my husband has said this and it is treated as violence against me.
Exactly.
Please file this paper for me. And it must be filed at the magistrate court without the help of anybody. And if you have access to a lawyer will file it for you. Immediately you file it, the cultural thing will come in.
You will come and start begging on behalf of the family.
That has nothing to do with poverty.
True.
So there are issues. So a lot of education as you are doing will need to be done to educate people. The legislation they are trying, whichever way they are doing it, some of these laws are coming out. Like Violence Against Women law, which was actually originally was supposed to be passed at the federal level, but because men complained at the National Assembly, and it was changed to Violence Against Persons Act.
Wow.
But in your state and we have it as in the original form, Violence Against Women law for your state 2015. So meaning that a woman can pick it up, and you know when you enforce the right of a woman, you are invariably enforcing the right of human beings.
Absolutely.
It will translate to the children. The husband will learn a lesson from it, and he will become an advocate for other people that, look, don't tell anybody to pack out of the house. Look, the law does not talk about whether you are married under the house customary, as long as you are living together.
Okay. All right.
It's enough. So,
So go on, sir. You were going to say something. As long as you're living together,
issues, so these are issues the media will need to bring up to ensure that members of the public are aware.
Right.
So if a lady is just passing by and one Okada man just, or maybe at the motor park, he just touched that lady, it is an offense.
It is an offense. Now knowing this,
it has always been, but now it has been codified directly.
So just quickly, because I mean, I don't want to take too much of your time. There are lots of rights and that one should know about. The right to life we've talked about, right to dignity, right to personal liberty, right to fair hearing. But let me spotlight a bit and use an example as to, because there's one aspect is knowing, but then the other aspect is what do you do when now those rights have been violated? You've talked about a woman who has been smacked in the bum by an Okada rider or somebody. Then what does she now? What's next? She knows that this is wrong. Now what's next?
You are talking of the enforcement now. On the part of the judiciary, before now, if you look at the enforcement under the 1979 Constitution, you have a problem of what is your business. They call it locus in law. Lawyers call it locus standard.
Yes.
But my Lord Justice Kuchigi, the retired justice and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, passed the enforcement rules of 2009. And that rule alone removed the issue of locus. It means as an NGO, as an interested person, you don't have to be related to the person involved.
Yes.
You can just take it up and file it in court on behalf of that person. Nobody, no court will ask you what is your interest. You know, we had that cases like Adesanya. You see instances where the court will say, look, what is your business with it? Then now the law has moved forward.
Right.
So now say that even as a radio station, you can decide to go and file an action in court on behalf of somebody who is affected.
Yes.
So you go to motor park, maybe you are just passing by, you just look at an Okada man, and you do that immediately.
Yes.
Again, we still need, because you will still need to arrest or maybe to get proper address for the purpose of serving that individual the processes. So you will still need the assistance of the police one way or the other.
Right.
And courts have been awarding damages even to victims of some of these. And there are so many laws coming out now.
Yes.
Even when you maliciously prosecute somebody because you are connected, the law now says that that victim can ask court for compensation.
Right.
You don't have to file another action to say that I've been maliciously prosecuted. So you go and check our child right. You go and check this new law that they just passed. I mean, they have it at the federal level.
Right.
You look at it, Administration of Criminal Justice Law. You look at it once you fall victim, and you know that, and the court is satisfied.
Right.
Then there is no reason, if not for political or economic reason, for this person to have been brought to this court. The court will find for that individual, the victim. So the enforcement, I must agree with you, we are still lagging behind in a way.
Right.
And even among the Committee of Nations. There must also commend lawyers who have been involved in it. You notice that if somebody is sick and is taken to the hospital, people will be raising funds.
Yes.
But when somebody is being defended, nobody raises funds for that person, for the lawyer.
Yes.
So you see that they do it free. Nobody will go on here and say, look, I'm defending this person.
Yes.
And yet the lawyer is putting his time, is putting his resources, is putting his energy, is setting certain things apart.
Yes.
But for doctors, they will tell you, look, we need 5 million naira, and everybody will only scatter, even to contribute money. And yet, we are doing the same thing to restore dignity of man.
Absolutely.
So the enforcement will still continue. I agree with you that we are still not there yet.
Yes.
So we call on our colleagues and spirit individuals, NGO. The NGO should know now that they can take cases like that up. The law is open. It's open to them as far as 2009. That you can now, you don't have to be related to that person.
Yes.
You can now file it in court, either by yourself, whichever method you know. But you can always get lawyers who will show interest
and can do
in that kind of thing. The legal aid is there. The female lawyers, they are there. MBA is there. There are so many other organizations coming up. And when you approach them, they take the fight. They take it up.
Wow, fantastic. I mean, I wish we had more time, but thank you. I must at this time say thank you very much, Barrister Bada, for your time here and for your work in sensitizing people on our noise. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right, thank you. That's all we can do today. And that's great. And I hope that we're able to go a bit beyond the surface, that some of the things that he said are some of the things that you may know, but now you know that it's not just about the knowing, but what do you do after knowing? What action do you take? And I think a lot of the time we are very scared. I wanted to ask him, because a lot of the human rights violations sadly happen by people who are supposed to protect us, the government, the security officials. So, and these are people that a lot of people are afraid of because of power and money and all of that. So how do people begin to take action beyond just knowing that, hey, this is wrong, but what do we do? We're people who are often afraid, who like to talk, but when it comes to, for example, signing a petition or to recall somebody from the House of Assembly or something, all of us start to back out. But we need to do beyond just knowing our rights. Knowing your rights is great, but another step is now taking action and making sure that our government know that we're people who will not just talk, who will not just whine, who will not just rant, but people who begin to take action. And like you said, we call on NGOs, we call on, associations of lawyers, ministries and different departments to begin to, take charge and rise up to the challenge in making sure that we have a we live in saner climes. Well, that's it on Beyond the Surface today. Thank you for being a part of the program. At 9 o'clock, we've got Tifun Tedo. And then at 10, we've got the business news. So make sure to join me then. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good morning.
Splash FM 105.5.